Allow me to introduce the man with the typewriter. He is a science editor for a prominent South American periodical. He's finishing a most important assignment, a series of articles relating to the progress that is being made in our hemisphere in the ever-growing fields within or relating to nuclear science. His tour has taken him to many places, to the Institute of Atomic Physics at the University of Sao Paulo, to the Venezuelan Institute of Scientific Investigation in Caracas, the Laboratory of Nuclear Physics at Santiago, the Inter-American Institute for Agriculture at Turrialba, and to several other important scientific centers. Now he will soon be bringing his travels to an end with a visit to the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center. From there, he returns home to tell about what he has seen and heard. How well he will do this, modesty restrains me from saying. For this science editor, I must admit, it is I. And what we shall see and hear now is one story I will be telling in my articles, Atoms for the Americas. My visit to the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center begins here, at its biomedical building in Rio Piedras, a section of the city of San Juan. Here I was to meet Dr. John Boer, the distinguished director of the center, who would tell me something of the center's organization and arrange for my tour with members of his staff. Wherever I had already gone on my tour, I had been impressed by the fine caliber of dedicated men working in nuclear science. Dr. Boer, an esteemed medical educator and former director of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission's Division of Biology and Medicine, was no exception to my findings. And as I was to learn during my visit, he also has outstanding associates and staff members, such as Dr. Amador Cobas, the associate director at Rio Piedras, and an authority on cosmic rays and radioisotopes. At our initial meeting, Dr. Boer explains the center's organization to me. It was formed in 1957 with an agreement between the University of Puerto Rico, which would operate the center, and the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission, which would construct and own all the facilities and would furnish all operating funds. As Dr. Boer indicates, the nuclear center functions in several parts of the island. Here in the San Juan Rio Piedras area are the biomedical facilities, located on the grounds adjoining the Puerto Rico Medical Center. In Mayagüez, 90 miles away, adjacent to the campus of the university's College of Agriculture and Engineering, are the nuclear center's reactor and several laboratories and much research equipment. Before my stay is over, I will see what each of these places is contributing to the nuclear center's total effort, an effort which Dr. Boer hopes is making a considerable contribution to the advancement of nuclear science and technology in the hemisphere. As my tour of the biomedical building begins, the extent of that effort becomes apparent. First, we see the work of the Radioisotope Applications Division. Of all the peaceful applications of nuclear energy, perhaps none has been as widely used and as productive as radioisotopes. At the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center, radioisotope theory and techniques and the many faceted applications of isotopes are fully explored and utilized. A basic radioisotopes techniques course is offered to university graduates with a degree in science, engineering, or medicine. Here the students study concepts involving the interaction of radiation with matter, the biological effects of radiation, nuclear and radiochemistry, and many other aspects of radioisotopes. They receive some background in radiological safety, learning basic facts about the detection and measurement of radioactivity, something of shielding and laboratory design, and of the disposal of radioactive waste. Theory is put into practice with laboratory work. Isotope dilution techniques are learned and samples prepared for counting. The various uses of radioisotope tracers in biological systems are studied firsthand. And there are opportunities to learn the operation of many nuclear instruments, such as proportional counters, scintillation detectors, and gamma spectrometers. When these students have finished their course, they will have the knowledge and skill necessary to work in radioisotope laboratories in the fields of chemistry, biology, and medicine. In addition to students learning to work with radioisotopes, graduate students are engaged in advanced studies conducted by the Center's research associates. Among the studies and experiments carried on by these young men and women, I saw work in chemistry involving the synthesizing of new substances containing radioactive isotopes, some of which are designed to be of great value to other divisions of the center. In this laboratory, I learned of the chemical work devoted to the search for compounds which, if injected into experimental animals, would provide some protection from the biological injury caused by radiation exposure. Also, boron compounds to be used in cancer therapy are the subject of much hard work. How many radioisotopes are being put to good use was evident when I visited the Clinical Applications Division. This division works in close cooperation with the staff of the University Hospital, using isotopes in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases. Using radioisotopes as tracers, they are able, with a variety of counting instruments, to determine the condition of various organs, such as the thyroid gland, being tested by its uptake of radioactive iodine. The functioning of the kidney is judged by making a renogram, that of the liver by using a hepatogram. Equipment such as this electrophoresis unit is used to provide information on the mobility, the identification, and the separation of protein components in serum with radioactive labels. Autoradiography, the exposure of tissue containing radioisotopes to sensitive film, is also used in research as well as a diagnostic technique. The knowledge and skill acquired by these trainees of the Clinical Applications Division soon will be proving invaluable to hospitals and medical centers throughout the hemisphere. As the Clinical Applications Division works with the University Hospital, so the Division of Radiotherapy cooperates closely with one of the hemisphere's finest cancer hospitals, the I. Gonzalez Martinez Oncologic Hospital. With its modern new building adjacent to the biomedical building, full use is made of the opportunity for close cooperation between the research and training efforts of the Nuclear Center and the hospital's mission of providing therapy to its patients. Trainees of the Radiotherapy and Cancer Division who already have medical degrees and a year of internship or clinical experience work with staff members. They gain valuable experience using equipment such as this 8,000 Curie Cobalt-60 unit in the hospital. a 300 kV Röntgen therapy unit in the Nuclear Center building, and various other therapy devices. To follow up the work in which they've participated, trainees accompany staff members in making grand rounds. To see more of the results of the work their division has been doing, they also attend weekly chart conferences and tumor board meetings, where they have an opportunity to study the progress of many different cases. With the training they are getting at the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center, these young doctors may someday be the leading radiotherapists of their respective countries. I soon discovered that the center's cooperative medical efforts go beyond working with these two hospitals. They extend to working with the Public Health Authority for the entire island. The center was active in a campaign to encourage early diagnosis and treatment of suspected cancer among the local population. I witnessed some of the extensive research being done in the radiotherapy division on cancer patients. I looked at cancer cells from patients with tumors of the uterus undergoing radiation therapy. Other research is conducted by the Medical Sciences Division, where in a specially constructed unit, living tissues are maintained. Some are for measurements of changes induced by radiation. Others are to compare cells grown from tumors with those of normal origin. In this germ-free environment, cells can be grown from biopsies and slices of tissue for the study of tumor growth. Another program of the center is a broad ecological study conducted in the lush tropical rainforest near San Juan. This work includes studying the effects of radiation on tropical vegetation, animals, and insects. A large source of radiation will be set up in a remote area of the rainforest after preliminary studies of the ecological systems. This unique tropical environment will provide data that can be compared with similar work at locations in temperate and desert areas. The Medical Sciences Division is also planning studies involving the insect-borne virus. Special traps are used to catch insects which may be carriers of dread tropical diseases. An attack on one particularly prevalent tropical disease is the center's work on schistosomiasis. Staff members of the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center are conducting research using radiation to study antibody production and action, which they hope will someday assist in the development of an effective vaccine for this snail-borne worldwide scourge. Having seen most of the center's activities in Rio Piedras and San Juan, I was now off to Mayagüez on the western side of the island, a short flight of only some 25 minutes. Adjacent to this attractive campus containing the University of Puerto Rico's College of Agriculture and Engineering is also located a nuclear center building, one housing some of the center's most important facilities. My hosts during this visit are Dr. Henry J. Gomberg, the center's deputy director, and Dr. Jose Luis Garcia de Quevedo, the associate director for Mayagüez. I am pleased to meet two men of such outstanding reputations in the field of nuclear science. And I am most impressed by what they show me. This 1,000-kilowatt pool-type reactor, an important research and training instrument, is a major attraction at the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center. Its fuel elements of enriched uranium oxide are contained in a core suspended from a movable bridge. There are 6 beam tubes at the base of the reactor, 2 of which now contain special equipment for neutron diffraction work. There are also 2 pneumatic rabbit tubes through which samples can be sent into the reactor for brief exposures. students of the reactor division eventually have an opportunity to operate this powerful yet sensitive nuclear instrument. But before they do, there is much to learn. They receive extensive instruction in the theory of reactor physics and an opportunity to test some of it with a graphite natural uranium subcritical assembly and a small homogeneous solution training reactor. A reactor simulator allows them to learn the precise operation of a reactor's controls. The work of these students, who already have their university degrees in engineering, physics, or chemistry, also includes the study of radiological safety, reactor metallurgy, and the chemical processing of nuclear fuels. When they have completed their courses with the Center's reactor division, they will have a background of great value in setting up reactor operations in their own countries, or in teaching reactor theory and techniques to other engineers. But teaching is only one phase of the nuclear center's use of its reactor. For while some study the working of this powerful tool, others are busy taking advantage of its many scientific uses and products, such as the use of neutron diffraction techniques to study the basic atomic structure of matter. Here, work is being done at temperatures as low as that of liquid helium. Members of the Nuclear Sciences and Technology staff also use radiation from the reactor to study activation analysis, to create and study short-lived isotopes, and to explore the structure of atoms, and to create and study new isotopes. Another type of reactor which both trainees and staff members of the center may study is the island's new power reactor called Bonus at Punta Higuera, a short distance from Mayagüez. This boiling water reactor, operated by the Puerto Rico Water Resources Authority, is one of the newest of its type anywhere. It will produce nuclear superheated steam. Aside from the pure and applied research being done at the Nuclear Center, I was surprised to see such directly practical work accomplished as the invention of an apparatus to correct photomultiplier fatigue. At this meeting, and throughout my trip, I was aware that the students and staff at the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center represent a great cross-section of the countries of the Americas. Surely a beneficial exchange of ideas, both scientific and otherwise, must take place when such men and women have an opportunity to study and work together. There are problems at any scientific center using complex equipment in the maintenance and repair of that equipment. The Puerto Rico Nuclear Center overcomes most of these problems in its own well-equipped shops. In this room, much of the complex electronic equipment employed in nuclear work can be serviced, and special equipment designed and built to specification. Within the center building is also a machine shop and a glass blowing room for the custom making of delicate and complicated laboratory ware. Later, important training programs and services of the Health Physics Division are brought to my attention. These young men and women are studying the theory and techniques of practices which make for the safe use of various forms of nuclear energy. The services of well-trained health physicists are essential to the growing atomic activities of the Americas. And the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center offers thorough training in this field. Aside from teaching others the tasks of the health physicist, such as the analyzing of environmental samples of soil, air, and water, the recording of data on personnel exposure, and the correct use and calibration of detection instruments, the Health Physics Division has the responsibility for performing all these services for the entire center. The chemistry program of the center widely expands the horizons of those who already have a university degree in chemistry. Both at the biomedical building in Rio Piedras and here in Mayagüez, advanced courses are given in organic and inorganic chemistry, radiochemistry, and nuclear measurement and instrumentation. Research in this division includes the study of inorganic systems, nuclear proteins, and the synthesis of various substances containing radioisotopes, many of which are designed to meet specific requirements of other divisions of the center. At the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center, I found a remarkable degree of cooperation and mutual interest among the different scientific disciplines. Perhaps part of this interest grew from the sharing of common nuclear tools, such as these hot cells, which provide shielding from radiation while working with highly radioactive substances. This time test of the strange reaction of mimosa to touch is part of an experiment relating radiation dosage to the plant's hormone activity. The center's Agricultural and Biology Division is making use of a variety of nuclear science techniques in the study of biological systems. A major portion of its work, done in cooperation with the University School of Agriculture, bears directly on efforts to improve the crop production in tropical areas. For example, enzyme studies are carried out on sugarcane mutations produced by radiation. The purpose of the study is to produce a cane mutant with a higher ratio of sucrose to cellulose, one which could eventually be bred to grow a richer, more profitable sugar crop. A research project which holds promise of great commercial value involves bananas, and the fact that exposure to a low level of radiation considerably slows ripening. Basic research using radioisotope tracers to investigate soil and plant relations is an important part of this division's work, as is the study of the life cycle of certain insects, such as the sugarcane borers, which cause great losses. At the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center, the study of life extends deep into the sea. To study a variety of specimens and information, the center has this 65-foot oceanographic ship, the Shimada. Part of the vessel's mission is to study the offshore waters. Instruments measure and record the water's temperature and currents. The bottom contours are determined, and samples of the ocean floor are brought up for analysis. There is a great variety and abundance of life in these waters. Some of it is brought up for important studies. Studies which show interesting correlations between the environment of the sea and the life it sustains. Nuclear techniques, such as activation analysis, are effectively used in this work. Here I learned how it is possible to study accurately the process of photosynthesis in the sea by determining the carbon uptake of plankton obtained at various depths. This is my final observation of the many ways in which the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center puts the versatile atom to use. The final hours of my visit take place back at the Rio Piedras campus, where I meet Dr. Jaime Benitez, Chancellor of the University of Puerto Rico and one of our most distinguished educators. After discussing many details of my trip, I asked Dr. Benitez a most important question. What, in his opinion, is the significant contribution of the Puerto Rico Nuclear Center, of all the nuclear centers, to our hemisphere? His answer summarizes and clearly brings into focus the reason for all that I have seen and heard on my long journey. These great scientific institutions are preparing the hemisphere for its entrance into a new era of human progress. Not progress for its own sake, but that which will allow for a fuller appreciation of the great values of Western society. Love for truth, for beauty, for man, respect for the individual, solidarity with man in his distress, and opportunity for him to grow to his full measure. My long journey is almost to an end. I can return home now to tell my readers what I have learned. And my message will be encouraging. For everywhere I have visited, I have seen dedicated men and women working to make the new world a better world through their understanding and use of the tiny atom. This is the true beginning of our atomic age, and of a great advance into a new and fruitful human era.